oh man, there's one corner that's missing. Where does that corner go? Do you own a watch that's hard to read because of a negative display? That's a black background with white letters. Well, today I'm teaching you how to quickly convert a negative display into a much more legible positive one. And as a bonus, I'm also going to teach you how to convert a positive display into a negative one, because sometimes they do look pretty cool. So stick around. Over the last few months, I have been secretly practicing LCD mods, including this incredible sparkly holographic mesh LCD mod. But this is a little bit more advanced and you've got to crawl before you can walk. So this will be a video for another day, so make sure you're a subscriber. But today we will be converting the display of this SKMEI 1628, which is an awesome budget G-Shock alternative, by the way. I still wear my modded version just here quite regularly, and I have a full review on this one just here if you'd like to check it out. And the second watch, of course, is the SKMEI 1412, another incredible budget option. It's a replica of the Casio F91 with a great backlight. And again, very happy with my version here, and we do have a full video unboxing this one. Now, the technique we'll be learning today is actually applicable to Casio watches as well. However, we are going to be performing it on SKMEI watches because they are so much more affordable and much less risky. I've also been practicing on the SKMEI 1123, which is very similar in size and shape to the SKMEI 1412. So this is the one that we are going to start with today. And if you would like to pick up either of these two extreme budget watches, head over to genie.us/SKMEI1628 or genie.us/SKMEI1412, or pause and scan the QRs on screen. Now, there is a few tools that we'll be using today, and I'll introduce most of them as we get to them, but there is one that is absolutely non-negotiable, and that is the Polarizer film just here, okay? Now, you know me, I love to save money and get things for the best price. This set of 2 polarizing films, which I've already used some, cost me just $3 on AliExpress. If you would like to pick some up, head to genie.us/polar or pause on screen now and scan the QR code. Now, you may have noticed, guys, obviously I have been adding some QR codes to a lot of my tools, and that's because I figured that a lot of you guys are actually watching on TV, so it's going to be a little bit easier for you to whip your phone out and scan a code than it is going to be to have to navigate to the description. And by the way, guys, that is absolutely the best way that you can support my channel, because each time you make a purchase, I earn a small affiliate income at no additional cost to you. So a big thank you to everyone who's been using my links so far. So let's take a bit of a closer look at the polarizing film and what it actually is and what it does. So if you do not know, polarizing film is what allows the digits of your LCD to show up. And as you can see, when 2 bits of film cross over each other, you can change the polarity and how they appear based on the orientation, okay? Now, I will say in my experimentation, it was a ton of hard work having to disassemble the module each time, get everything together, and then screw the back on and get the battery working just to be able to test any of the things I added to the LCD, okay? A lot of hard work just for a small test, which is why I got this little bad boy right here. It's basically a clear version of a clock. Now, at the moment, you can't see anything, can you? That's because I've peeled off the back layer of the LCD, but if we take one of our polarizer films, boom, check that out. Hang on, let's get the white background here. You can see the digits now, and if we twist it, now you can see that night and day. And if we wanted to make it a negative display, we just tilt it like that, and there you go. So that's really what the crux of polarization comes down to, guys. So it's going to be a matter of doing that with the SKMEI 1412. So let's make a start. Bubble, what are you doing here? Ah, yes, that's right. Bubble is here to remind you to ram that like button, because we are about to crack in to the SKMEI 1412 and reverse its polarization. Aren't we, Bubble? Would you like a treat? You sure would. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha. All right, fellas, step 1 is going to be to remove the case back of your watch. And actually, step 0, I haven't even peeled off the starting plastic and stuff because this is a brand new watch just for this video. So we'll get rid of all that. Okay. Now I like to use a little module pad here. These are just a bit soft. If you would like to get one, you can pause and scan that. And the next tool that we'll use is my electric screwdriver. Again, this one is an absolute beast. USB-C recharging, and it just makes the job 10 times easier, doesn't it? So let's get it done. Oh, and last but not least, little magnetic screw tray. Makes keeping track of all your screws nice and easy. Okay, that's our little case back off. We'll stash that just there. And next up, we are going to preserve the little rubber gasket here before we remove our module. And for that, I would recommend this. What does it say? Genie.us/lube. Get your mind out of the gutter, guys. This is for lubing gaskets, okay? So we're just going to use our tweezers here to grab a hold of this little gasket. And actually, it's a little bit different to what I'm used to. The ones I usually see have a bit of a little lip that make them easier to grab. So I'm going to have to try and, there we go, coax it out. Drop it in there and give that a couple of spins. Make sure it's nice and waterproof when we get this bad boy back together. All right. Now, I do like to use the tweezers themselves to just kind of hinge up on the module and take it out, just like so. Now, you want to keep this face down somewhere, guys. The last thing you want is any dust falling in there. So we're just going to leave that like that. And we are now going to get this little LCD out. Actually, technically, you could do it from above, but it is going to be easier if we... Do you know what? Let's actually save a step here. Let's genuinely do that. So I was honestly planning on fully disassembling this, taking out the battery, but because I'm used to doing it for the polarizing film on the back of the display, but since we're doing the one on the front, let's try. So the next tool that we'll use, where is it? This is my little scraping tool, another fantastic one. You got two ends, the little metal razor version and then like a plastic version for less delicate things. But let's go ahead and see if we can't peel this up as is. So coming in for a closer look, you might be able to see there on the top corner, there's a little bit of a something. Just going to try and get under there, get that polarizing lens. So the lens that we looked at earlier, guys, that's what this is. It's just sitting on top. Now, this is not going to... All right, we are going to have to disassemble it, unfortunately. So let's get that done. So we bang this over, and we've got 4 screws on the back of the module here, guys. So we're going to start with the one that has this little bit here, because this can fall off and get lost. All right, so I always start with that one. Bam, leave the screw in. Okay. Next, take these 4 off. If you're lucky, you can keep them all in this little metal shell, so it all comes off in one piece. There we go. Oh, hang on. Got one left there. There. All right, all come off in one piece. And finally, our little battery. Okay, so we put that to the side as well. Now, here we have our little board with our LCD, and we're just going to want to pop the motherboard off, guys. Now, be very gentle with this, and I'll show you why. The way that it handles the backlight uses some very delicate parts. Looks like we're a bit stuck here. Come on. And actually, this is an optional step, but I do like to do it, is to chuck on a couple of your little... where are they? Here we go. These little finger condoms, all right? So these are quite inexpensive as well. You can get like a 50 pack for a couple of bucks. So it's good when you're handling an LCD. All right, here we go. So that's come off. Now, look at what's happened there, guys. So there's a little, you've got your main zebra strip here that connects to the motherboard on the corresponding stripes there. And there's a little one at the side. Now, this one is for the backlight. You definitely don't want to lose that. Sometimes it can get stuck to the motherboard when you pull it out. All right, but that's fine as is. Now, to get the LCD out, you can use your nail here, but I find it's good to use a spring bar tool. Here we go. So you can use the poking end of a spring bar tool, which is often for adjusting bracelets and etc. And if you just kind of poke it through this little hole here and pull it out, just like that, you can use your thumb from behind to just push it out. So there is our little, come on. Oh, and our little zebra strips come out as well. So we can install that behind afterwards. Okay, so here is our LCD. Now on the back half here, guys, is the reflector and another polarizer, but we're going to be targeting the polarizer on the front here. All right, so let's go ahead and actually we'll put these just here for now. And we're going to use our little scraper, see if we can get this started. And I'll bring you in. I'm going to have to come in real close as well because this can be very delicate. There we go. See how we're making a start under there like that? Let's get the other side up as well. Go. Okay. So now you want to kind of wriggle it until you've got a bit of enough space to kind of grab it. All right. Just like that. Now we're not going to reuse this polarizer, so it's okay if we bend it a little bit, but you can sometimes just use tweezers just here to kind of grab and peel it up. But I think we are going to have to keep working this because it's feeling pretty stubborn. Okay, keep working our way around. It might actually be easier to get all four corners, I reckon. Yeah, nearly there. Okay, we should be able to peel this up now. Bingo. And now our front polarizer has been removed. Now you will notice, guys, there is some residue there. You could use some kind of a goo remover to get rid of that. I don't have any on hand, so we're just going to hit it with some isopropyl alcohol. Okay, here it is, my IPA. This is 99%, but any IPA will be fine. Bang some onto a cotton swab. And we don't need this piece anymore, but I'll chuck it up there. And we're just going to gently get rid of all that sticky residue because we don't want that showing up on the display. It's coming up quite easily. Sometimes you do have to use the other end because all of the gooey bits get stuck on the end of here and it's kind of counterproductive. So we're getting there. Oh, see what I mean? You roll it and go. All right, let's get the last bit off with our other half. Okay, that looks pretty well there. Yep. Alrighty. Now, rather than go through all of the rigmarole of reassembling and everything, we should be able to test the LCD with our polarizing film now. So let's go ahead and grab some and we'll get the one that's already cut. Okay, now look at this, guys. We know that with the previous polarizing film, we know that you could see through it just fine. But if we were to tilt that by 90 degrees, we know that it would now become a negative display. How cool is that? So in our decision to cut out some of this film, all we're going to do is make sure that the angle that we do it makes it as dark as possible to be a negative display. All right, so probably, let's see. Oh, that's all right. Maybe something like that. Okay, can we? I like to try and save space actually. So that angle's pretty good actually. You know what, let's cut off this small bit and we'll refine it from there. Stuff's pretty cheap anyway, guys, so don't need to be too precious about it. Now actually one thing to consider is you can, this is a self-adhesive film, guys, the one that I've recommended. So you can actually peel up and stick it down. Is that the sticky end? Let's feel. No, that's the smooth end, which means this other half is the sticky end if we did want to adhere it. Okay, yep, but I think we're just gonna rest it on top. But let's get it as dark as we can. There, looks pretty good to me. So to lock in this angle, I'm just going to cut that so that I know what we're working with, and then refine this from here. Now guys, you could use a Sharpie to trace over this. I don't mind kind of just eyeballing it. It's not that big of a deal. So I like to just do this and then just keep trimming it. Okay, something like that. All right, I want it a bit smaller. The key is we want it to be just small enough so that it can fit in the housing that we're going to drop it back into. All right, let's give this a shot. So we're now going to reassemble this. So we're gonna, oh, that's the way we're doing it. So we're gonna keep this up the correct way there. And we're gonna first put our little zebra strip back inside. This can be very delicate, guys. You just gotta be careful. Drop it in, just like that. Oh, our little backlight diffuser's coming out, that's all right. There. So make sure your zebra strip is down a little bit because the top part of the LCD's actually got to pop through. You know what? We're going to have to put that in after. So we are going, look at that. You've got the little lip at the top there. That part is what touches the zebra strip. So that goes under here. And then where's our spring bar tool? Just here. So we're going to open that up and let our new Polarize free LCD down just like that, and put our zebra strip back in. Bang. Alright, now it is looking a little bit grubby on there again, so I'm going to give it a quick touch up with the IPA. Okay, yep, that looks alright to me. So remember, this is the way we had it up, and once we go over it, that's going to be black. So if we really wanted this to be steady, we could kind of pinch it down, but I think it's going to be fine to just rest it on top. Although we definitely need that IPA to dry, because look, it's leaving a little piece of water under the screen there. So we'll let that fully dry. Grab a fresh, clean cotton swab. That's better. Should be dry now. Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of bubbling on the back of that LCD, but I don't think it should be fine. Tell you what, we'll at least peel up the top half of the LCD film. This is the non-adhesive side, so that it's a little bit cleaner. You know what, maybe we will stick it down. Let's just do it. So we're going to take off the little bottom adhesive protector and just make sure we get this perfect so that it covers all. I reckon we'll line it up with the top and then just sort of hinge it down. Oh, so I've gone a bit, it's a little bit too wide at the right, so probably have to trim that up. That's fine. Should we use our razor or should we try and peel it and then cut? Peeling it and cutting it would be easier. Let's try that first. That much should be fine. Boom. Now will it go down? Bingo. Look at that, guys. All right. So that should be our negative display. So now let's reassemble. Ooh, look at this, guys. That's what I was talking about. That little piece has fallen out of its slot just there for the backlight. So we're going to use another pair of tweezers to just very gently drop that back in there. Make sure that backlight's going to work for us. And then put our zebra strip back. Bang. Okay, next is our motherboard. Alright, remember these little pins, the line of pins along there. That's what we're going to line up to the zebra strip. Bang it in. Next comes our battery. Chuck that there. Now, when you come to the little battery protector here, guys, sometimes it's confusing. You're like, oh man, there's one corner that's missing. Where does that corner go? Well, the answer is it's the part of the board with the circle, which is in the 6 o'clock position, if you can see, of the 4 corners. So it would go on just like that. All right. So we'll put our battery, line this up properly, start screwing this back together. So imagine how much of a hassle this was, guys, having to, every time I'd make a change to the LCD, having to undo and redo all of these little screws and the little zebra strip and all. So, okay, let's see if that's working. Oh, bingo, look at that, guys. That is a negative display if I've ever seen one. So with that remaining quarter there, we're just going to get the, remember this little one just here with the screw and piece attached to it. So that one goes just above the battery, like so. All right, and we get it right way up into our housing. Bingo. Drop it in. Push the pushers in so that the module goes down. Oh yeah. Make sure that's all lined up, including this half. Our lubed up gasket. Case back. And the moment of truth, our negative display SKMEI 1412. Look at that. The digits are now white and the background is dark. And actually, instead of black, we've got a blue background, and that's to do with the back polarizing film that they've used. So we have blue instead of black just here, and that's to do with what they do with the backlight. I'll shut off the lights a little bit to show you, but SKMEI backlights are absolutely amazing. Look at that, so clear. And actually now the backlight is positive because the normal display is negative. Really, really cool. So guys, we are about to get into the SKMEI 1628 where we reverse the negative to positive. And this one's going to be a little bit different because you see that ring around the 4 and the 2? As far as I know, that's not a section that lights up. So I'm wondering what happens when we reverse that. So just before we begin that, guys, make sure that you are a subscriber so you don't miss out on our next watch tips, tricks, and mods. See you in a moment. Alrighty, now, same deal, except this time we do not want it to go to black, do we? We want this to be as see-through as possible. So let's see what kind of an angle we can get here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at how clear that is, whereas before, look at that, that's how dark it was. And actually, that little rectangle is still visible, isn't it? Interesting, especially visible in the dark, but you can still see it just there. Now, one improvement I want to make to my polarizer film, guys, is I want to mark which side is adhesive. Because as you saw last time, I kind of had to peel a bit and then test with my finger which end was sticky. And that does make a difference. So, okay, that's the smooth end, luckily. So I'm just going to label that. I'm going to go S for smooth on top with a Sharpie. Okay, and so now we're going to know. And we want this to be as clear as possible. Anything right around there, I reckon. So maybe we'll, yeah, let's cut out a nice rectangle here. Generously, of course. This stuff is very cheap, guys. This nice, cheap polarizing film I've found for us. $3 for 2 of them. That's insane. Some of the polarizing, man, there's some blue polarizing film that I've seen in other colors. So expensive compared to this. Now, we did say that this one on top, I don't want to flip this over, this one on top is the one that's not the adhesive. Man, look at that. Alright, so that angle is good for me. Basically a perfect 45-degree angle. So, let's get this sorted. Okay, so that's the corner we want to lock in around. Yep, okay. Looks pretty good to me, although I want to cut a little bit off this crooked corner and then we're good. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. So for a start, we're just going to peel off the top layer here, the inconsequential one that isn't adhesive, unless we've fumbled along the way somehow. Nope. So yeah, get rid of the back. Okay, bang, look at that. Can't even tell that we've added any film onto it. That looks perfect. Alright, now for the reassembly. So, going to be a bit tricky, guys. As I said, this is my first time doing it with one of these modules just here. Now, if you do get confused about which side goes in where, see that little notch at the top there that's only on one side? I think we can line that up with the notch on top of the LCD here, can't we? So, tell you what, we might remove those. Can we remove the zebra strips? No, we might just have to push them down a bit. Push it down, it might pop out. Push that down as well. That way. Okay, and now we're going to have to pop this out again. Pull that open. There we go. And that is in. That's looking good, guys. Look at that. So let's keep going. Now, what's our next step? It is our little, no, it's not the motherboard. It was these, wasn't it? Remember, we have our little pushers, so we're going to plop one on there, and another one just here. Bang. Is that a bit bent? What's going on here? Oh, look. So there's a little slit that it goes in as it goes down, guys. Interesting. Oh, come on. Unless that's the wrong half. Yeah. See? So it's gone in that little slit. I've got to do the same here, or that won't work. So we go into the slit, and then over the little rod there. Come on. There we go. Okay, now the motherboard, I'm not actually entirely sure, but we should be able to get an idea based on these the pin orientation here. Gee, so I'm honestly, oh, hang on, check it out. There's one that's a little bit wider. So I think it actually goes up this way, because note that one of the zebra strips is a little... Wait, is that just an optical illusion? I don't know. Oh geez, we're just gonna have to try. Maybe it'll only fit one way, let's see. Hopefully it's that way, I guess. So a little way that we can cheat is even without putting any of the screws in. Let's see if the battery, if we can, hang on, where does that spring pop through? I'm learning it just as we go, guys. So there. Now let's see if we can get any life out of the, Sometimes they do actually need to be screwed all the way in order for the full battery connections to happen. So we're just gonna screw this all together, and hopefully that was the right way up. If not, you know, it was a 50-50 shot. Oh, this is a shorter one. Yeah, it's not catching on anything there. So I think this is the one that, look, see there's a bit of metal here. This is the one that connects the battery, yes. And then this should tell us whether it's all correct. Oh my, well, it's all jambled. Damn, look at that, it's all jambled. We're gonna have to do a battery reset, but at least we know that that works. And in fact, once the pressure is fully, so the way the zebra strip works, guys, is each little section is responsible for a different part to the LCD. I reckon once we get all of the pressure on here properly, that might work properly. So let's give it a shot. All right, please can it not be scrambled? Oh dear. So, okay, first let's try a battery reset. If not, this may actually indicate that we had the motherboard on the wrong way up, okay, which is no big deal, we'll just fix it. So to do a battery reset, it's different per watch actually, but usually you've got to touch two separate areas using a paper clip. Let's see what I've got here. Now, as I say, I'm new to this module, so I'm not 100% sure. We're just going to test a few different contact points here. Oh, we've just triggered the backlight there. Has that done anything? Nope. Okay, guys, unfortunately, I think we've simply put the motherboard on wrong. So let's flip it. And actually, my little driver's running out of magnetism. It's barely picking these screws up. So I do have another little gadget here, which you guys are going to love if you haven't seen this before. It's a magnetizer and demagnetizer. And if you just kind of ram this through the magnetizing section a few times, this will make sure that it is much better at picking up your screws. Okay, let's give it a shot. There we go, solid grip there. Gee, it's so strong now the little tray won't grab it. There we go. Okay, we'll keep this short one just to the left because that's a little bit different than the others. Okay, now hopefully there's not too much stuffing about. Come on. White, go around again. There we go. Okay, gently there. So we had the spring half at the bottom. Evidently it may have had to have been at the top. Try this. Oh, maybe I feel like now the screw holes don't line up. One does. So yeah, so look, we've only got one screw hole lining up there now, guys, and this one's got nothing, and that one's just going into an empty void. Okay, so that means we must have had it up the right way. Let's try again with the spring down. Yeah, see, now we've got a lined up screw hole here, here, and here. So we know that this spring down is the correct orientation when we have the little notch facing down, which means it's just a matter of these zebra strips not making proper contact. So because they could have got a bit pinched when we reinserted that lens, couldn't they? So I'm just going to pop this up, make sure it's nice and flush, put back in. Same with the bottom. This one feels like it is a little bit stuck. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again, guys. Down it goes. Battery cover. Okay, threading the spring through the hole, and we'll get that one super short boy screw, this one here that we kept separate. We'll get him plugged in just here. Now, can we have any signs of life? Oh man, something is messing up. What could it be? It's got to be a way to do an AC reset here. It's not just a matter of the pressure. I'm baffled. I mean, look, it's a success in that we've reversed it to be a positive display now, but it's just all scrambled, and I really don't know the 2 points we're supposed to touch for the AC reset on this model. I'm baffled, guys. What would you do in this situation? You can try some of the... Oh, I've just made it worse, haven't I? Okay, now what I'm considering is there a chance that I put the LCD in upside down? But I don't think that's possible, given that there is a notch on this side that aligns with the notch in the plastic. So I'm honestly baffled here, guys. There's got to be a way to resolve this. Backlight's turning on. It's like it's trying to function. This is what you would see right before you did an AC reset. I just need to know what those 2 points are. Maybe, you know what? Let's peel up this sticker. Okay. I feel like it's... Oh. Hey, look at that, guys. AC. That must be for the AC reset. So we're on the right track here. Let's try touching there. No. What about this half? Oh. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but there's actually 2 pins down that AC hole. You see what I'm saying? So maybe we need to get them to touch each other to bridge that and cause the reset. Hey, maybe if we use the prongs of our spring bar tool. Let's see. Come on. Oh, I'm baffled, guys. Next thing I'm going to try is to take out the LCD and reinsert it. Maybe it's simply at an angle or something, or misaligned. So let's give that a shot. Can we take this up as one piece? Yes. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Oh. Guys, look at how... Yeah, I feel like this zebra strip is getting bent as... Like, man, let's poke that back out. Could I have put the zebra strips in upside down or something as well? Like, I don't think so. That's... Okay, the LCD 100% goes in this way because the notch matches the top of the display. That's a given. So that makes me think it's something to do with these zebra strips. Now, we've only taken them out briefly, and there's no way I've accidentally flipped them over or anything like that, right? I might have to go back into the footage and just make sure that that's the way that they were in before, but like, I don't know. That looks fine to me. I wonder if this will do it. So, remember it was notch down, spring down. Then we use our little shorty, screw that battery in. Show me potato salad. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to go back and check the footage of the disassembly and I'll be right back. Alright guys, while it's fresh on my mind, in the footage where we unscrewed it the first time, that little notch was at the bottom when the spring was at the top, which means this is somehow up the wrong way. Alright, so let's get this sorted. Come on. Yeah. There. And this was, in fact, down like this. I don't know how, because it didn't seem like that made sense earlier, but it didn't seem like it was going to screw in properly, did it? But let's give it a try. I don't see any other way. Oh my god. That can go that way, but maybe it's all about this, the way the battery lines up with the holes. Let's see. Is that going to screw in? I bloody well hope so. Come on. Okay. Pray to the watch gods, fellas. Here we go. Yes! Oh, that's it. Hang on. It just needs pressure. Look at that. If I take my finger off, whew, guys, we're golden. Let's get it back together. Oh my god. Yes. Oh yeah, that's looking beautiful. And guys, I'm sorry. I said in the title this was going to be quick. That took a lot longer than expected, given our little detour with that problem solving. So hopefully you can learn a lesson from that and do it nice and quick. Now let's bang it all back together. Are you ready, guys? Let's get the final wrist check happening so we can fully appreciate the fruits of our labor. At the moment, I'm currently wearing the Casio W... Oh, man. My mind is literally blank, guys. That's how long we've been working on this. What am I wearing? the F105W, good lord, that we're wearing for Watch of the Week. You can check the unboxing video for that one just here. We are on day 2 of wearing this bad boy. You guys ready for the big reveal? Editor, roll the clip of what it looked like before we did the negative reversal. That's right. Completely illegible. You ready for this, guys? Here we go. Boom! A positive display watch, just like that, out of frickin' nowhere. We have reversed the polarity using the polarized film, and doesn't it look wonderful? Even that little rectangle that we weren't sure what was going to happen is somehow there. And I'm so happy with the results. This is a great proof of concept for many others just like it. Wow, I am so pleased with how this has turned out, guys. It was one hell of a journey, but we got there in the end. And this really means a lot for the modding scene, because let's put it this way, there is a lot of negative display watches which can be quite cheap because they are negative, all right? If they were positive, they would be worth a lot more money, but now we know you could get your hands on them and reverse it just like this. So do make sure that you are a subscriber to see more watch mods just like this one, and stay tuned, because as I said, now that we've got step 1 of the LCD polarization done, I'm going to teach you guys coming up how to do the holographic and mesh mods. So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for that. A massive thank you to our Goat Crew channel members for supporting the channel, you absolute legends. Here's a link if you'd like to join us. Here's a link to our Watch Mods playlist and some more great content for you to watch next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Yes, you've always wanted a SKMEI watch, haven't you, Bubble? Oh yeah, how stylish is that?